The Quinnipiac men's lacrosse team opened up MAC play this weekend against Detroit Mercy, where they start conference play with a win.
And the Quinnipiac baseball team set a new program record against St. Peter's.
And of course, we have your top 5 plays of the week. Sports Paws starts now.
Sports Paws is back, and want to know what that means? It is 9:30 Eastern Time, and we are live. I am Emma Carmen alongside Brian Schwartz. Brian, how are you?
I'm great, Emma. Let's get this started. We start with the Quinnipiac men's lacrosse team, which started its stretch of 5 straight in-conference games in Michigan at Detroit Mercy. The Bobcats came away with a 14-11 victory. Foster Cuomo scored 6 times to lead the way. Jake Tomsic had 3 goals, and Mike Fletcher had 2. Quinnipiac was down 5-3 after 2 quarters, but stormed back, outscoring Detroit Mercy 11-6 in the final 2 frames. This marks Quinnipiac's 2nd win in MAC play, and with that, Emma, let's check out standings.
Now we'll take a look at the MAC standings for the men's lacrosse team. Quinnipiac sits in a tie at the top of the conference with Canisius, and both teams hold a 2-0 record. Following them is Monmouth and Detroit Mercy, who both have a record of 2-1. Marist, Manhattan, and Siena round out the last 3 spots.
Now let's send it to Q30 Sports men's lacrosse beat reporter Chris Stacy, breaking down some plays from the team and what they need to do going forward. Take it away, Chris.
Emma, Brian, thanks. You just said men's lacrosse team is now 2-0, and I'm going to tell you why they're 2-0, so let's go to the touchscreen. We're going to start here at the Holy Cross game. On defense for Quinnipiac, you're going to see Holy Cross dodging down the alley. The slide is going to come, but that's going to leave number 6 wide open on the crease, and no one is there for the 2 slide. So you're going to see number 6 catch the ball, time and room, showboat, score. Not good if you're Quinnipiac. It's kind of embarrassing as well. So now we're going to move on to the offensive end. You're going to see great hustle here on the ride by Foster Como and the other attackers. Now, what I mean by ride is they're going to turn the ball over here, and you're going to see Foster Como fight to get that back. And instead of trying to scoop it up and score, he's just going to scoop it and like a hockey shot into the net. And that's huge for Quinnipiac because they were down, and this was when off Holy Cross scoring 3 in a row. So going forward, Foster Como is going to be huge for the Quinnipiac men's lacrosse team. He scored 6 goals against Detroit Mercy. He's going to continue. He needs to continue that play if Quinnipiac wants to see success in the MAC. We're going to keep going forward here, and it's going to be Jake Tomsic this time. Jake Tomsic, the talk about Jake Tomsic is his ability to score, but on top of what I've seen is his facilitating ability. You're going to see everyone on Holy Cross looking at Jake Tomsic, and Brian Feldman also notices this, so he's going to make a nice cut off the dodge from Jake Tomsic, and it's going to be an easy goal right there. Holy Cross, no chance right there. They're all focused on Jake Tomsic, as a lot of people in the MAC and other opponents they've had so far. And we're going to see another Jake Tomsic play coming up here, and this time it's off the unsettled situation. And Jake Tomsic knows this right now. He's a very talented player. He's got 1 man to beat, and it's going to be one-on-1 with the goalie. And he's going to win that 9 times out of 10. He's going to make a nice hitch move right here, get past the defender, shoot, score, celly. So that is what the Quinnipiac lacrosse team needs to do. They need to rely on these scorers, Jake Tomsic, Foster Como, but their defense needs to do the little things if they want to continue having success in the MAC. So 2-0 so far, but if they want to win, they want to go undefeated, they want to win a championship, defense is going to be key for this team going down the road. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Chris. Now, arguably the biggest piece to the puzzle for this Quinnipiac men's lacrosse team is its leading scorer, Foster Cuomo. The junior took home Offensive MAC Player of the Week for the 2nd time this season. Cuomo had 6 goals and 2 assists in the win over Detroit Mercy. Those 8 points are a career high, surpassing his previous high mark of 7 against NJIT earlier this season. Cuomo is now 3rd in the MAC in goals per game and 5th in points per game.
The women's lacrosse team had a successful weekend in their conference matchup with Manhattan. The Bobcats hosted the Jaspers on the new fields in Hamden this past Saturday. Quinnipiac defeated Manhattan 11-6, and junior Allison Kuhn and sophomore Brianna Fitzgerald each had hat tricks.
Now let's take a look at the MAC standings. Each team is just a game or 2 into conference play. Quinnipiac sits right in the middle at 1-1. Fairfield and Canisius tied at the top, both 2-0. Quinnipiac tied with Niagara and Monmouth. They're in the middle at 1-1. Siena, Iona, and Manhattan are all winless at the bottom of the standings.
And now we have live interview out in the Piazza with Q30's own Shane Dennehy and sophomore attack Ashley Babinski. Shane, take it away.
All right, thank you, Brian and Emma. I'm here with Quinnipiac sophomore women's lacrosse attacker Ashley Babinski. Ashley, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, Ashley, obviously you get to go against one of the premier defenders in the conference, Kara Kelly, every day in practice. How much does that help your game?
She definitely prepares me. Her attitude during practice is awesome. She comes up to me every day and she's like, Ash, we're gonna get better today. And having like that game day mentality of like playing hard during practice carries over to when we have games. So it definitely prepares me well.
Yeah, you've took on a lot of responsibility this season on offense. What aspect of your game has improved most since your freshman year last year?
I just think my confidence coming in freshman year, you don't know what to expect. You know, you're new person on the team, you don't know how the flow of the offense or the people you're playing with really work. But carrying over to this year, I think I was able to build on what I started last year, and I just came in with a lot more confidence this season.
You lead the team both in scoring and assisting. What do you like better, assisting or scoring a goal?
I think the assist is so much better because it's so much fun to have that connection with somebody on the field. And then when you make that pass and you see them like finish the goal, it's just a really good feeling because you know you helped them do that, and then you get to hug them after and just feel connected.
And one of the things that really stands out is a lot of your shots end up on target. Is that something that you really focus on in practice, getting your shots on goal?
Yeah, during practice, you don't always get the most shots, so me and a lot of our other teammates get to stay after practice too and always work on our shooting.
All right, one more question before we go back. How many goals do you think you end up scoring this year?
I don't know. I'm not trying to keep track, but hopefully I'll have a strong end to the conference.
All right, thank you, Ashley. Good luck the rest of the way. Thank you for joining us. Brian and Emma, back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Shane. And now it is time for a quick break. How did the softball team do in a 2-game series against Ryder?
And the Quinnipiac baseball team traveled to Jersey City for a 3-game set with St. Peter's. Would they complete the sweep against the Peacocks? All that and more, we'll be right back. This is Sports Paws.
Whether you're on the quad, in your room,
Or heading to class.
tune in to Q30 News.
For stories by student journalists you can trust.
We are covering the latest here on campus and in surrounding areas.
Get the news you need to know every Wednesday night.
Coming up on #that, we talk about some fun events around Quinnipiac's campus.
And we talk about some weird news that's been discussed around Twitter.
All that and more, we are your source for Quinnipiac's entertainment news.
Tonight on Sandwich News, we will determine what makes a good sandwich and a bad sandwich. First, the standard sandwich. Uninspired and frankly, a little gross. But we have here a Ray and Mike sandwich, the Cadillac of sandwiches. And if you want one, well,
come on down to Ray and Mike's at 3030 Whitney Ave, Hamden, Connecticut. Open every day from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. Qcash is accepted.
now that's a sandwich.
And now a quick message from our sponsors. Custom Cakes is brought to you by Steve. If you can dream it, we can bake it. Welcome back. The softball team had a 2-game matchup against Ryder this past weekend.
Game 1 of the doubleheader against Ryder featured Casey Herzog in the circle, and that usually means a Quinnipiac win. Well, it did. Quinnipiac defeated Ryder in Game 1 6-1. Herzog won her 10th game of the season in the complete game victory. The Bobcats offense came alive in the 6th as Megan Dyson scored on a pass ball. Miranda Magana scored on an error. and Kaylani Finley also scored on an error a batter later. Rebecca Drake then hit a pinch hit 2-run home run to cap off a 6-run sixth inning. Game 2 would be up next.
In the second game of the series, Ryder defeated Quinnipiac 10-0 in 5 innings. Losing that game for the Bobcats put them at 1-1 in the conference and an overall record of 11-17. Despite the loss, Brigid Douglas, Aaron Larson, and Abby Long each recorded a hit for the Bobcats. Pitcher Casey Herzog took the loss for the team and is now 10-7 overall with an ERA of 1.3. Their next game is at Providence College this Wednesday.
Let's take a look at Casey Herzog's stats side by side this year and last year's. Herzog has already matched her win total from last year with 10. Her ERA is down to 1.30 from a 3.44 ERA in 2017. Herzog also has almost matched her strikeout total from last season already. It's been a very good season for Casey Herzog, as you can see with those statistics. The Quinnipiac ace is having a phenomenal year.
The baseball team had quite the Easter weekend competing against St. Peter's in a 3-game series. Chris Dacey, Ryan Chichester, and Samantha Bosquet made an over-under estimate on last week's show, Bobcat Breakdown, about how many runs the baseball team will score. Let's take a look.
Talked a little bit about the St. Peter's series. Quinnipiac is obviously the favorite in that. The over-under for runs scored in this series is 22.5. Ryan, what do you think?
I'm going to go over. Bobcats haven't been the best hitting team. They're slugging under 400 as a team so far this season, but like they say, usually the best cure for a hitting slump is to face some bad pitching, and they're about to face some bad pitching when they go and play St. Peter's. The Peacocks are giving up a ton of runs this season, which has pretty much been status quo for them the past couple of years. So sometimes the best way to get a team going is to just face some pitching that isn't exactly the most quality in terms of talent, and they'll feast on that.
I'm going to go under just because of the things you said at the beginning that they haven't been hitting the ball very well, and I just don't think they're going to. I still think they're going to beat them. Like 22.5 runs is a lot. That's a lot of runs. I just don't think they're going to reach that. But I do think they win. They do beat St. Peter's convincingly. Maybe not 22 runs though. I don't see that happening. What about you?
You know, they haven't been hitting, but some of that has to do with the fact that they've been facing some decent pitching. UNCW is a really good team that they got swept by last week, and Stony Brook's another quality team. They're far and away better than St. Peter's.
Well, Sam, I think Sam, you've been around this team. What do you think?
I'm going to have to agree with you, Chris. I do not think that they're going to score more than 22.5 runs over this series. They really need to step up the morale of the team. If they're making errors, they're going to get in their own heads. They're not going to be mentally there at the plate. And there's a lot of offers in the lineup, and I don't see them breaking this.
All right, well, let's look at a team like St. Peter's, who gets blown out almost every other game. You take one blowout, let's say Quinnipiac explodes for 13 or 14 runs in one of those games. Now you just have to average 4 runs a game to get to that 22
Here's the thing.
mark.
This is MAC play. You don't think St. Peter's like, oh, these guys are in a conference, we're going to step up a little bit.
St. Peter's has shown over a full season that they still don't win when MAC play starts.
They have faith. I mean, like, come on, you got to step up a little bit if there's a
They have faith? Was this the book of
like,
Eli?
Well, Emma, one of our so-called experts, Chris Dacey, went under on the 22.5. I think Ryan Chichester was right on his prediction. Game 1 of MAC play was Friday afternoon against the Peacocks, who have not won a game yet this season, and that did not change. Quinnipiac defeated St. Peter's 10-0. The Bobcats got out to a quick start as Dylan Lutz and Ben Gibson both had RBI knocks in the first inning. Lutz had 3 hits in the game. 8 of the 9 Bobcats starting hitters reached base at least once. Taylor Luciani went 8 1/3 scoreless with 9 strikeouts. Arthur Correa closed it out for the Bobcats, giving them the game 1 win.
Now, Brian will take it to Game 2. The Bobcats took Game 2 4-0 against the Peacocks in their first game of a doubleheader. Brandon Shalikas pitched for the Bobcats and collected 8 strikeouts while only allowing 4 hits. Shalikas now has 3 wins under his belt with a 3.35 earned run average. The Bobcats scored all 4 of their runs in the first 3 innings.
And here's where it gets interesting. Looking for the sweep, Tyler Poulin took the mound for the Bobcats, and it's safe to say Quinnipiac gave him a bit of run support. Quinnipiac won 28-2. 28-2, a Division I record for the Bobcats of runs scored in a game. Third baseman Evan Volgamore hit 3 long balls and was 1 of 6. Bobcats with at least 3 hits in the game. Every Bobcat position player had a hit. Dylan Lutz, Liam Scaffarello, and Anthony Cruz all had 4 hits in the ball game, leading to the Bobcats' series sweep of the Peacocks.
Now joining us in Studio 125 is one of Q30's own baseball beat reporters, Robin Brown. Robin, how are you tonight?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, you guys.
Glad to hear it, Robin. Were you surprised by Quinnipiac's sweep of St. Peter's?
You know, guys, I'm going to give you a dual answer on this one and say yes and no. No, in the terms that St. Peter's coming into this game was 0-14 on the season, so you had to think that Quinnipiac was going to come away with at least one win while they were traveling to Jersey City. But I'm going to say yes because this team has not been hitting well, as we know. And as you mentioned earlier, they recorded 28 runs in this game, which is, as you said, a Division I record, absolutely phenomenal. Sophomore Evan Volgamer hit 3 home runs, not to mention that these home runs were back to back to back. So phenomenal. Ben Gibson had 2 home runs. Liam Scaffariello went 4 for 4 on the evening and hit 1 home run as well. Even the freshman Frank Cassio hit his first home run. And this was the first time that the Bobcats surpassed 20 runs in a season since 2007. So that's been 11 years since that has happened. Now on the other side of things, from pitching, Brandon Shalikas finished the weekend with his first shutout, going 8 strikeouts and allowing only 4 hits. And then he also has an ERA right now of a 3.35. And in total, he threw 88 pitches and recorded 63 strikeouts. So looking at those statistics, you have to think that was a pretty phenomenal performance from the graduate pitcher there. And also Tyler Poulin coming into this game, who is a Marist transfer, and he even threw 9 strikeouts and only allowed 2 hits in that 3rd game. So pretty phenomenal performances both on the mound and in the batter's box.
I would have to agree with that, Robin. So they are 25 games into the season. Can you give me a pitcher and a hitter that are standing out the most to you?
So I'm going to stay on pitching, as I just mentioned, Tyler Poulin, and he recently, before transferring to Quinnipiac, had shoulder surgery, and that was to his pitching arm. To see the amount of strikeouts that he's throwing right now, he's had 42 on the season through 37 innings, so pretty phenomenal. That's the most on the Bobcats team, and comparing him to the Marist pitching roster, just to see what the differences were, their leading pitcher has only thrown 23 innings and recorded 14 less strikeouts. So yes, is that a difference in the amount of innings pitched? But you have to see, like, the amount of strikeouts that he's recorded at 42 is significant. And when I talked to him a couple of weeks ago about his adjustments, is he feeling comfortable here, he said that the welcoming atmosphere that he feels being a Bobcat is something that he's acquired to. He's just happy to be here, and I think that he's going to make some noise in the MAC going forward.
Now, Robin, what about a player to watch? Give me a Bobcat that will make some noise in conference play.
So I'm going to spice it up a little bit and say that a Bobcat that maybe isn't talked about as much is Ben Gibson. He himself, I wrote these stats down. He's leading in home runs with 7. He's leading in his slugging percentage, his total at bats, and he doesn't have the most hits on the team, but he's only trailing by 2, 3, 4. So I'm kind of looking at this and saying that quality over quantity is what's going to put him over the edge heading further into MAC play.
And lastly, Robin, what are your predictions for their upcoming games against Central Connecticut and Monmouth?
So last year when they played the Blue Devils down at Connecticut, they ended up losing 6-3, but I'm kind of just looking over this. It's an out-of-conference game against the MAC. They'll go out, they'll play, but looking down the line and playing against Monmouth, last year they lost to them 0-3, but this Monmouth team is only 7-15 on the season right now, and comparing our pitchers to their pitchers, our top 3 pitchers, our ERAs are all better than all of theirs, and even in the batter's box as well, 7 Quinnipiac batters have 20-plus hits compared to Monmouth, who only has 3. So I think this being their first home game of the season, 26 games into the season, which kind of is unbelievable, but going into this game, knowing that they're going to have that home field advantage finally, I think that they're going to come out and pick up at least 1 or 2 wins.
Thank you so much, Robin. Time flies on this show. When we come back, we will discuss this week's Twitter poll.
And you know, we can't forget about the top 5 plays this time, the top 5 of spring sports so far. You won't want to miss it. Sports Paws rolls on. Back after this.
Hello, and tonight on Sandwich News, we will determine what makes a good sandwich and a bad sandwich. First, the standard sandwich. On Inspire and frankly, a little gross. But we have here a Ray and Mike sandwich, the Cadillac of sandwiches. And if you want one, well,
come on down to Ray and Mike's at 3030 Whitney Ave, Hamden, Connecticut. Open every day from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. Qcash is accepted.
now that's a sandwich.
Bobcat Breakdown presented by the Quinnipiac Bobcats Sports Network.
We are your source for debate.
Did they make the playoffs last year, Tom Jenkins?
When it clicks, it clicks.
We dissect Quinnipiac athletics on a scale you've never seen before.
With Tobia, it almost looks like she's reaching a little bit.
Plus, we bring in the biggest names surrounding college sports.
We are live here at the Times Union Center with Jay Billis.
And of course, some comedy.
But you can only have so much arena food.
I think you're crazy.
Bobcat Breakdown.
Tuesdays at 9:30.
This is Sports Paws.
Are you concerned with the 0-2 start for this team?
Right here, top of the circle, again, rips it past the Jasper's goalie.
What will breaking the record mean for the program himself? I mean, 138 wins.
There's the tough shot. What a nice play by Mikey Dixon.
He's good in transition. Just a really dynamic scorer he can create for himself.
And now, Emma, it's time for the top 5 plays of the week.
Sports Paws is brought to you by Custard Cakes by Steve. If you can dream it, we can bake it.
Welcome back. It is now time to have a little fun on our show involving the Quinnipiac Acrobatics and Tumbling team. Brian, take it away.
Let's take a look at the past of the program now for the Quinnipiac Acrobatics and Tumbling team. They've been ranked in the top 10 every year since 2005. Last season, they lost in the semifinals to Baylor. Marianne Powers, the coach, one of the founders of the NCATA. Quinnipiac 4-2 so far this season. The highlight, a win against Oregon, and a big matchup coming up this week. The question of the week is how far the Quinnipiac Acrobatics and Tumbling team will go. Let's check out the results of this week's Twitter poll, and the overwhelming results are that Quinnipiac wins the championship. 62% voted for that choice, 19% voted lose in the championship, 11% lose in the semifinals, and 8% lose in the quarterfinals. So Quinnipiac fans pretty optimistic about their Bobcats.
Brian, what do you think about that? Did you get to vote on it?
I did not get to vote on it, but we'll see. They played very well so far this year, so a national championship might not be out of reach.
Very true. Dominique Vasile, a freshman on the Quinnipiac women's tennis team, was announced MAC Women's Tennis Player of the Week for the second time this season. She helped lead Quinnipiac to a 6-1 win against Niagara, which extended their winning streak to 41 in conference play. Vasile was only one of 2 players to earn a single double sweep in her match. She won her singles matches 6-2 and 6-1 to help the Bobcats bounce on top after losing the doubles point. Vasile is now 10-4 on the season in singles.
At the State of the Union last week in Hamden, Quinnipiac Provost Mark Thompson was asked about the state of club sports at the university.
This is the annual question about club sports that I get. And I'm very supportive of moving in the direction of establishing a club sports program. I think it's important in terms of our ability to recruit students. Not having it puts us at a competitive disadvantage. I think it enhances the student experience if we have those in place, and I think it helps with retention. So I'm very supportive in moving that direction.
So it sounds optimistic there from Thompson. Q30 Television will provide updates when the university makes its next announcement.
And now, Brian, it is time to do top 5 plays of the spring season. You heard that right. We are going to do the entire season rather than the past week. You take the odds, and I will take the evens.
Let's get it started at number 5, Quinnipiac softball, Rachel Marchuk in the box. Here comes the pitch, and Rachel Marchuk, that one's out of here. Rachel Marchuk on the first pitch swinging, 2-run home run. Bobcats defeated the Seahawks 6-5.
Now we'll take it to play number 4, still sticking with softball. Game against Wagner at home. This time, Short blooper goes right to Bridget Douglas, throws back, makes that catch. Double play. Bobcats fall to the Seahawks in game 2, 10-7.
Number 3, Quinnipiac women's lacrosse against Hofstra. It's Ashley Babinski working on the Hofstra defender. She comes around and now rips this ball past the goalie. That's a goal. Hofstra won 13-4.
And now we'll go back to softball for play number 2. Against UMass Lowell, Bobcats down 1 run in the bottom of the 6th when Kaylani Finley gets a 2-run double. She drives in that run. That hit makes the difference, Brian. Bobcats go on to win 2-1.
And the number 1 play of the spring sports season so far, Quinnipiac baseball, fly ball center field. That's Brian Moskey going back, a diving catch. So that's a web gem there for Moskey, a top 10 play on SportsCenter. Check that one out again. Brian Moskey, nice catch.
What an unreal catch.
Q30 Sports beat reporter Drew Feinberg was at the Quinnipiac Intramural Basketball Championship game. Here's Drew with more.
The stage was set. 2 deserving teams meeting in the championship at Lender Court. This may sound like the MAC championship, but it's not. It is the Intramural Championship.
What a thriller to finish off the 2017-2018 intramural basketball season as Dynamite defeat D's 46-42, backed by Joey Torgerson.
It's great because last year we came in here, we had an undefeated season. I believe it was undefeated. We came in here and lost by a point, almost at the buzzer. So coming back this year and winning, it was really nice.
And although the arena seats may not fill up for game day, just the chance to play on Lender Court is special for some of these players.
It's great. Like I miss playing competitively in high school. High school ball was fun. I played with a big atmosphere every game. So coming back here, it's like just playing in the big arena, and D1 guys are playing out here. It's fun to play.
Like all basketball games do, this one got chippy towards the end. Dynamite got called for 2 technical fouls, but Torgerson says that's just the motivation the team needed to pull off the victory.
Seeing that happen, that's not really my style of play. So I was frustrated. The guys who got teased kind of sat out. One of them I kept in, we wanted to win the game. But just coming back from that, we just had to put it behind us, just play like we didn't even get one.
Although there isn't a cash prize or a trophy awarded to the winner, something equally valuable is earned: bragging rights.
Reporting from Lender Court, Drew Feinberg, Q30 Sports.
Thank you, Drew. Now, Emma, you're a big intramurals player.
Yeah, I play as much as I can. What about you? Do you play?
I played last year. We had a really, really bad loss against Q30 Sports beat reporter Dylan Fearon's team. So, I haven't played this year. I've fallen off after that loss. I don't know if I can ever come back from that. I don't want to say the score. Let's just say it was not good.
Yeah, it made you not play this season, so it couldn't have been that good.
It wasn't great. A little preview for this week for Quinnipiac Sports. Quinnipiac women's lacrosse has a game against Monmouth on Wednesday. That's a big MAC matchup. The men's lacrosse team also has a big game on Saturday with a MAC foe.
And the acrobatics and tumbling team takes on Gannon University on Saturday for their last meet of the season before they head to nationals.
Finally, Quinnipiac women's golf also has a big meet this weekend for the first time in a while. The Quinnipiac women's golf team is one of the best teams on campus, and they kind of go under the radar just like acrobatics and tumbling. They won the MAC last year, got to the NCAA tournament, so we'll see if they can sustain that success and repeat this season.
Unfortunately, that's all the time we have here on tonight's episode of Sports Paws. Be sure to tune in next week, same time, same place.
And be sure to follow us on Twitter at Q30 Sports and at Q30 TV to check out all of our content at Q30TV.com. For our production staff, everyone behind the scenes, and Emma Carmen, I'm Brian Schwartz. Have a good night.